Okay, so what we're doing here is we're going to match up these two clips so that the colors are consistent, and we're going to be using the skin tone to do that, because that's the convention used in color correcting. If the skin tone matches up, then you can be sure that everything else pretty much matches up too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the interface into a different mode here. I'm going to go arrange and multiple edits. Multiple edits will give you a couple of different windows here. We have the canvas, we have our scopes and a frame viewer, and we have another frame viewer here. And this can give us a full frame of our previous edit, and the canvas can give us our current point. So if we look at, for example, this frame viewer showing us the in point, and we have our canvas showing us where the playhead currently is, we can then have our scopes open and we can be working across all of these various windows. Okay, so before I do any corrections to this to make it look like this, I want to make sure that this looks as good as I can possibly get it. Okay, so I'm going to get my color corrector filter. In video filters, color correction, color corrector 3-way, load that up. I have two there by accident, so I'll just leave that one there. Okay, now, right, I'll clear all this out of there, and so I'm starting from scratch. So I'm going to look at my scopes. First of all, I'll make my scope more visible. Now, in this particular image, it's not particularly bright in any area. It's kind of a slightly, I wouldn't quite say dim, but it's kind of subdued lighting. But I do have black points that I can use my waveform to get them where they need to be. So looking at my waveform, I'll bring the blacks down to just above 0. And that gives me a nice kind of rich tonal variety here. And I'll give it a little bit more saturation, just to warm it up again slightly. Okay, now this is my good clip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this one let's see now as my current frame. Sorry, no, I want this one to be at the endpoint. That's my good clip. And I'll leave this one as current as in the canvas. Okay, so what I need to do is drag another color correction filter onto this because I want to make adjustments to it. Load that up in the viewer. Now what I want to do is I want to use the match hue tools here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select a part of the image that I want to match the hues on this skin to the hues on this skin. So I get the dropper. So I'm working on the bad clip at the moment. So this is color corrector 3-way is applied to this clip, but I want to sample a color from this clip. You'll see that color loaded up there, and it's telling me that it's a mid. So the next thing I do here is I get that eyedropper tool, go to the point where I want the hues to match up, click on it, and you'll see that it automatically warms them up and makes them look more like that. Now I've just committed a cardinal sin here, so I'm going to undo that. First thing you always need to do is to make sure that your levels are done first. Okay, so again, into the waveform monitor, bring the darks down there. Now I'm going to check this clip. So this one has a little bit more dispersal here, which means that I need to pull up the mids of this one. Again, checking the waveform. Okay, I can bring the black point down a little bit more. Okay, so the tonal varieties now, or the tonal range, matches up a little bit more. Now I need to get the color balance done, and I can go back then and I can tweak all of these. Okay, so as I was doing there, I've got my match hue selected. To this point here, I get the eyedropper, click there. Now, that's match hue in action. So now you'll see that it's matched up these two clips quite well. Now the next step is to go into the frame viewer and set the right hand side of the split. Make sure it's V split. The right hand side of the split is going to be current frame, and the left hand side of the split is going to be in point. So I want this and this. If I wanted to, I could actually use in and out points, so I could use an out point to specify what's on this side, but I won't because it matches up quite well there. So now I've got a good match there between the two clips, but if I wanted to, I could do a, now you'll see the t-shirt doesn't quite match up, so I might need to do a little bit of work on that. So there's a bit of tweaking involved here in the mids, maybe to it could be anything from the actual hue to the luma. You see a better match there now, so I could even saturate that a little bit maybe. Okay, so I'm getting a better match on the t-shirt. I could split that into horizontal split now and look at other aspects of it. But as it is, it actually looks quite good. So now I've got a good match hue. I'll just render that. And check it in my canvas to see if it, so you can see now those two clips are quite well matched up using the match hue.